From Ciri's dimension-hopping misadventures to Vesemir experimenting on another batch of orphans, here are some of the wildest The Witcher theories you've probably never heard. The Wild Hunt sure are a rowdy bunch, made up of those snobby NL elves from the land of Tir Nalia. They've got nothing better to do than traveling to different worlds and enslaving innocent folks. But once they got wind of Ciri and her elder blood, they decided to switch gears and set their sights on her. Now, as the Wild Hunt goes on its wild goose chase to find Ciri, she's no damsel in distress. Nope, she's got a trick up her sleeve, or should I say, in her DNA. Using the power flowing through her veins from her elder blood, Ciri starts to travel across different worlds like a fantasy version of Travago, showing fans a taste of her interdimensional powers in the Season 2 finale after she, Geralt, and Yennefer followed Voleth Mir through a portal, taking them on a one-way trip to NL. But Ciri's journey through these different worlds isn't just a way for her to escape the Wild Hunt, it's also a journey to seek her true identity as a Hen Aegir, a child of elder blood. Season 2 already started paving the way for Ciri's coming-of-age story, and you can bet your coins that Season 3 will keep that going. After all, our girl needs time to figure out where she fits in this crazy world, or worlds, as it turns out. While she does that, though, it looks like the rest of the world will be busy picking sides. In The Time of Contempt, the second book in the Witcher saga and the foundation for the upcoming season, there's a sneaky little coup brewing among the mages. Surprise, surprise, those magical folks with their fancy spells and mystical powers can't seem to keep their capes untangled, getting into pointless arguments every other day of the week. Now, at the end of Season 2, we already caught a whiff of the brewing storm after news about Ciri and her blood started spreading like wildfire across the continent, sending shockwaves through all the different factions. And boy, did it make things go from bad to worse. The mages, who were once these seemingly neutral advisors to the kingdoms, suddenly started picking sides like kids in a schoolyard brawl. So much for their code of neutrality. This newfound division among the magical elite is bound to cause some serious trouble, leading to secrets getting spilled, alliances shattered, and trust. Well, let's just say it's going to be as rare as coming across a trustworthy Doppler. Thankfully, though, if the coup does take place in the upcoming season, there's still some mages that are somewhat trustworthy. In the books, once the Brotherhood gets wrecked by that sneaky coup, a phoenix rises from the ashes, the Lodge of Sorcerers. And let me tell you, this isn't your ordinary sorority house. It's a politically independent group of badass female mages, led by the fierce Philippa Eilhart, who's determined to protect the interests of magic. The looming coup that we saw manifesting itself at the end of the second season is merely the catalyst for the creation of the Lodge, and they have a clear objective in their sights: Ciri. Yep, that powerful little firecracker is going to be at the top of everyone's to-do list in the upcoming season. And let me tell you, Tissaia in particular has got her magical robes in a twist, determined to track down Ciri and fulfill her destiny. She's a witch on a mission, and nothing's going to stand in her way. Meanwhile, the other members, Triss Merigold, Yennefer, Fringilla, and Francesca, will be joining forces with Philippa to protect the interests of magic and track down Ciri. Let's see who manages to get their hands on her first. Speaking of Ciri, though, looks like she's going to be in a bit of a rough spot with her new companions. After losing her family to the Nilfgaardians, Ciri has finally found herself a brand new family in the form of Geralt, the Witcher with a heart of gold. And let's not forget Yennefer, a powerful sorceress with heart, taking her place as Ciri's new mother figure. It's a match made in heaven. But wait, there's more! Enter Haskir, the bard with a flair for the dramatic, taking his spot as the favorite uncle who's always ready to crack a joke and strum his lute. Now, as much as we want this newfound family stuff to last forever, it looks like trouble is brewing on the horizon, as Sagismund Dijkstra, the cunning mastermind of the underworld, believes it's time to cash in a favor owed to him by a certain bard. Cue the dramatic music. Will Haskir betray Geralt? On the surface, the answer seems obvious, right? There's no way the bard who spent the last decade of his life singing tales of the Butcher of Blaviken is gonna turn on his friends, right? But let's face it, Haskir probably won't have much of a choice, especially since Dijkstra's a guy who could have him disappeared without even lifting a finger. Who knows? Haas's guilty conscience will probably result in yet another emotionally charged ballad, much like Burn Butcher Burn, that'll tug at our heartstrings. Hey, maybe it'll even become his next big hit. The family drama doesn't end here, though, since there's been a growing rift between Yen and her mother figure, Tissaia. To say that the two have had their fair share of disagreements would be an understatement. But the second season really cranked up the drama, giving us a serious dose of their mother-daughter bond. But after Yen sacrifices herself for Ciri and joins forces with Geralt, her newfound partner in crime, to protect their newfound family of 3, Tissaia decides to team up with the Northern Kingdoms. Yep, those same Nilfgaardians who are trying to capture Ciri, burning down anything in their way to do it. Why? Well, as I already mentioned before, Tissaia is scared by Ciri's immense power, terrified that Nilfgaard will turn her into a living weapon. And although the Netflix series has taken its creative liberties with the source material, Season 3 could still dive into significant elements from the Time of Contempt, which involves Tissaia siding with the cunning Vilgefortz, leading to a showdown with Yennefer herself. We're talking about a clash between two powerful sorceresses, both driven by their own motivations and ready to throw down some serious magic, which could have ripple effects that shake the foundations of the continent itself. Still, some fans believe that all of this is too out of character for someone like the Elder Witch, leading to the next theory, that is, Tissaia is being impersonated. We've all seen how the Elder Witch loves Yennefer like a daughter, right? And she also has no reason to hold a grudge against Geralt either. Plus, let's not forget that she's all about balance, not power. Taking all of this into account, why on earth would she want Ciri assassinated? It just doesn't fit her worldview. The only potential explanation is that the Tissaia we saw putting a bounty on the main trio isn't the real deal. Someone is impersonating her, and it's not like that desperate Doppler theory, which some book readers and gamers are clinging to in the hopes of seeing an Eskel revival. No, this theory takes us down a different path, folks. Enter Triss, the sorceress who's been rejected by both Tissaia and Geralt when it comes to matters of the heart. Triss also genuinely fears Ciri's powers and what she represents, believing her to be a walking, talking magical power explosion waiting to happen. So maybe, bear with me for a second, in Triss's twisted mind, getting rid of Ciri might just be the best way to protect herself and restore some semblance of control. It's a pretty far-fetched theory, but it still makes a whole lot more sense than bringing a dead character back to life. Those guys are more fanatical about bringing Eskel back to life than Vesemir is about creating more Witchers. Funny I should mention that, considering how the old Witcher might actually go through with his plans. Over the course of the show, Vesemir hasn't hidden his desire to whip up a fresh batch of Witchers for the continent, even going as far as to try and turn Ciri into one. But as with everything in this world of fantasy, there's a catch. He needs Elder Blood to make it happen. He already has a vial of Ciri's blood back at the lab, and with the abundance of elfish help available in the lands near Kaer Morhen, Vesemir has everything he needs to fulfill his dreams. But whether his new crop of Witcher children survives is a whole other story. We've already seen the trials Geralt and his brothers had to go through, and the stories of all the kids who never made it out. So let's just say it's no walk in the park. If it doesn't work out, Vesemir's gonna be burying a whole lot more kids in his backyard. So, from Vesemir experimenting on another batch of orphans to Ciri's dimension-hopping misadventures, these were some of the wildest The Witcher theories you've probably never heard.